Hi everyone, it's Razyel Kayne. I'm back with another interview. I am that lucky. I still can't believe that my small channel has been able to do this for a fifth time. And today I'm doing an interview with my first Beast War voice actor, which is the great Garry Chalk.
Hi,
Hello,
everybody.
sir.
Hi.
So how are you doing today?
Well, not too bad. Had the UBC ACTRA Awards last night. That's the film awards, film and television awards here in Vancouver, and it was a quite rollicking evening because it was the first time in a couple of years that we've had the award where people gathered in a
Yeah,
theater. So that was exciting, and just having a great old day. I mean, it's sunny out there. It's a bit chilly. It's about -3 out there, but
did you get snow yet in BC?
we had snow. We had snow that came down for about, I don't know, one day. It was 1 inch of snow that just came and went. It was a
Yeah,
big thing in October, so
I was expecting that. We had our first snow this week. I'm like, it's going to go away, and it did not. So had to shovel today, and
where are you based? On Montreal?
2 hours from Montreal. I'm in Gatineau, which is
Oh,
on the other side
Gatineau.
of the river of Ottawa.
I know it well. I used to drive through it and go there all the time.
Oh well, next time you're in town, you let me
In the
know.
hills, yeah. Well, because I used to live in Barhaven
Oh, okay,
in
all right.
in Ottawa. Yeah.
So no, it's good. Like you're the first actor from Canada that I interview as well. So and it's fun. Somebody who knows a bit of where I'm at. So I've never been to BC though. Maybe eventually, maybe
Well,
I'll
it's a
go cross
beautiful
country.
place. Expensive in Vancouver, but it's still a beautiful place. I mean,
Oh,
the
I'm sure.
province is amazing.
Yeah, but you're originally from the UK.
Yes,
Okay, so you still have I don't know family there. You go in once in a
I
while.
do.
Or?
I do. I was visiting them in August.
Okay.
Yeah, I have cousins and aunts and uncles, and my brother lives there. And
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So you do have still a lot of family. Are you the
Oh yeah,
only actor in the family?
I am. Yes,
Okay, so you're the artist, the one
I'm
that
the
everybody's.
actor. I'm the one they all talk about. They go, "Oh, yeah."
Okay, that's cool. I just want to take a moment, as is customary on these streams, to greet anybody who's in the chat. So I'm gonna start with my girlfriend. This is Catherine, and
Hi,
she's at work right now, but she takes the time to say hi. Lone Dragon, who's been listing your shows, so Exo Squad and Conan the Adventurer, and of course Beast Wars, and so he's another big fan. Ultra Megatronus, hello, Chris. This guy knows every voice actor, what they did. I told him he should start his own channel as well, and yeah, the Void M3, another big fan of yours. All these
oh
people,
boy.
those are all the YouTube handles of people that I've interacted with, on a daily basis these days.
Oh,
So,
cool.
oh yeah, it's a great community. Oh, that's my sister. She got home. So, oh, and this is. You probably know this guy. I think you already might have met him. Yeah, yeah, three
Rodimus
times
Prime.
now.
Yeah,
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 he's the biggest YouTuber. He's the reason why I started collecting, and
yeah.
made me realize that it was okay to be 40 years old and collect stuff. So
Well, that's fun.
yeah, it's a lot of people. So thanks for coming by, guys. I will be taking once in a while questions from the chat, but I will again avoid any questions relating to a writing intent. So there's question that I know, Mr. Chuck, you've been asked, like, what would your character do in this and that situation? And to me, that's not an acting question; that's a writing question. So
Yeah.
I skip those. So, all right.
They give me
So,
the words, I says them.
well, I mean that's the thing. A lot of people are attached to the characters and they want to know more about the characters, but they're oftenly going to ask the actors, "What do you think your character would have do?" Or what was his thought process in this situation? But it's really, a question for the writing people that created the characters, stuff like that. So All right. Oh yes. I don't know if you are a Power Ranger fan, but we just found out about half hour ago that Jason David Frank, who used to be the Green Ranger, passed away today. He's 49 years old.
Oh my
So
God.
yeah,
What is
it's
going on with that? I mean, I've been noticing lately a lot of people have been passing away who are quite young,
yeah.
you know.
Well, in this case, it's a mental health issue that could have been
Ah,
prevented.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if he would have maybe shared
There's
and talked with
a
people. So
few of those going on these days.
yeah, it's the great plague of since 2000. That's all you hear about. Mental health. So I'm going to say anybody in the chat, I've had issues, I dealt with them, and I strongly suggest everybody should take care of anything that they think they might have in their head that could be prevented. Just go talk to someone, professionally, a friend, anything, but take the steps.
Well, your mental health is just as important as your physical health, and so if
Yes,
there's something there, you got to get it fixed
exactly.
because we have some serious issues with mental health here in Vancouver.
Oh, it's the same thing. Ottawa area, we have, it's kind of a plague all across the at least North America. I don't know about the rest of the world, but you
Yeah,
hear a lot about those, so it's kind of sad.
yeah.
Well, all right. Well, let's start with the questions that I have, and yeah, just the first couple questions is basically to establish a bit of your journey. You started acting in a play when you were 8 years old.
Yeah,
That was The Shoemaker and the Elves.
yeah.
You also sang, and I know you're an accomplished musician. Um, did you do a lot of other plays and projects before auditioning for Studio 58?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then,
It's the theater school. Yeah.
yeah, but what like did you always do plays like in school, high school, middle school?
Well, I did plays in high school. I did mostly musicals, The Boyfriend and Oliver, and I think I would. No, I was working as a stagehand in Camelot, and uh, and that was my theater experience in high school. I thought it was just just a fun thing to do. And
Okay.
then when I went back to school to college, I was not even thinking about theater because I didn't think it was a money making thing. I just thought it was just people did it for fun. And I found out that no, people get actually paid to do this. So I went down to the theater school to see a show, and it was amazing. It was of Mice and Men, and it was just an
Yeah.
incredible performance. And I just said, you know what, I want to sign up for this, and I did. And that was my initiation into professional theater. And I did a lot of plays there. I played Jacques Brel is alive and well, living in Paris. I did Hamlet and Private Hamp and What the Butler Saw and Loot. Lots of different plays, and then I started working. My first professional show was a thing called Loot with a playhouse, and toured across Canada with it. And I just had a small part in it, but it was a lot of fun. And one thing led to another, and I'm now a fully fledged professional actor. I mean,
Yes.
it's hard to describe all the steps because it's so much stuff. I remember my very first cartoon was I recorded in Ottawa,
Okay.
1983, and it was called Hiawatha, and I played
Yes.
Hiawatha and Hiawatha's dad and a couple other characters in the cartoon, and it was at Atkinson Film Arts. It used to be in downtown Ottawa. I can't
Okay.
remember where it is exactly, but if you look on YouTube and just look up Hiawatha 1983 or animated movie, there's a clip of me talking to my mother and talking to my dad, who's also played by me,
Okay.
Hiawatha, and that's my very first cartoon.
Okay, but there's a site I use a lot. It's called behindthevoiceactor.com. And they have you listed for another show before that, like a dubbing. Um, I can't recall what
Alien
it is.
Star Lost.
It. I'm
You
gonna
did that at
pull it up very
CGOH.
quickly, but it was yeah, dubbing for something about a blue spaceship. Hold on.
Yeah, that was Alien Star Lost.
So was that before Iwata or was it after?
Well, it wasn't really an animated feature. I was just dubbing, and that was at CGOH
Okay.
in
Okay.
Ottawa. And
All
that
right.
was my first dubbing. That was my very first dubbing. But my first actual animated prelay show was High
Okay.
Water.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, you had this wonderful career, which I've covered in my voice actor spotlight video. So,
Yeah.
it's you did, very versatile. Your career, you did on-screen movies, TV movies. You did cartoons and animation, a little bit of video games, and it's you're. I think you made the right choice by auditioning for Studio 58.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It
It's
was
it's
wild.
great.
I'll never forget the guy who ran the program was a fellow named Anthony Holland, old British guy, who since became a good friend of mine. He passed away a few years ago at the age of 95. But he looked at me and he goes, "Well, you've got some talent, not much, but some." All right, see you. And that was it. So I got in. I was amazed I got in, but I got in.
No. Well, I mean, they made the right call by letting you in. When you auditioned.
Yeah.
But growing up, did you have any inspiration or mentors, somebody that encouraged you to go into acting, or was it just self-driven? You had a realization, I want to do this.
No, there was what I think the only close encouragement I had was in high school. I had an English teacher, and we were doing English. It was an English literature class, and we were reading a play called "The Barretts of Wimpole Street."
Okay.
Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and it was part of the literature curriculum. And the English teacher said, we should read this play. And so I read the romantic interest in the story, the son, I think, and I was reading it, and I didn't pay any attention. I was just doing the play, but then I noticed. It was pretty quiet in there, and people were looking at me. And I thought, what have I done? What have I done? and my English teacher just went, wow, like this. And he said, you have to go into theater. And I said, well, I don't know. I was in high school, so
Yeah.
what do I know? But I eventually did. But he was a real huge influence there. And then there was another fella named, for different reasons, then another fella, his name was Keith Taverner. I don't know if he's around anymore at all, but he was a singer and an actor in our school. And he said, we're doing this play, this musical called The Boyfriend. You should be in The Boyfriend. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, no, man, you can sing. We don't have too many people who can sing, but you should be in this play. And I said, I'm not doing that. That's weird stuff, singing and dancing like this. And he goes, the women are beautiful. That was enough for me. Okay, I'm in.
that's good.
And it turned out very well. I mean, that's what my first musical that I did was The Boyfriend, and then went on to do the other ones, Camelot and Oliver and the other shows in college. But that was lots of fun. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's I can't act worth anything, but I would have loved to, have some talent and be able to pursue that that career path. So, but I like doing what I do here. So
yeah, and this is great fun too. I mean, my English teacher said I should get into broadcasting as well, but I never did. I mean, I did, I did a lot of voiceover commercials and stuff, but never, never got into broadcasting. I wish I would have, because it would have been fun too. Because I got a friend of mine who were radio personalities they have a great life, a lot of fun. So
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm having a good life. I'm having a lot of fun.
oh
So
yeah, no, I think both like there's a I interviewed Neil Ross and he did a lot of DJ stuff back before he started to become a voice actor, and it was very interesting too. It's a different life, different career path, but a lot of voice actors started doing voiceover for radio. Now I'm talking like Don Messick and Maurice LaMarche and all those people started doing those voiceovers and commercials for radio, and then
well,
moved
didn't
on to
Maurice come out of Ottawa originally? I'm
who's.
trying to think. Maurice LaMarche, didn't he come out of?
I think so. His name sounds very French. Yeah, I'm from Quebec, so maybe he was from the area, but
Yeah,
he was
because
at Comic
I
Con
seem
this
to
year.
recall him doing commercials in Ottawa, because I remember what launched my voiceover career was I was at what's that Kiss, is it Kiss FM? No,
Yeah, there was a Kiss FM.
Kiss FM and Sound Ventures was a company called Sound Ventures. There was a fellow named run it named Chuck Rubin, and I got a call one day to do a commercial for the Ottawa Citizen. The Ottawa Citizen for the latest news, sports, and entertainment, and
Yep.
all that. And it was a real breathy voice, and I can swear that it was Maurice who did the commercials, but he had left. He had gone to the States somehow, or someone down there. Anyway, I read the commercial, and I read it my usual strident self, and I got fired because
Oh,
that's not the voice they wanted. They
okay.
wanted the breathy voice, the breathy voice, the same as the original guy. And so I was quite shocked. I'd never been fired before. And so I went up to Chuck and I said to him, I said, look, if you show me how to do this and help me make a demo, I'll do your next commercials for free. And he said, okay. And he talked to me about the different reads and, the breathy read, the retail read. Remember last year running around at the last minute looking for the right Christmas gift and all that, and the
Okay.
corporate spokesman and all these different reads. And then we put together a demo. Well, that demo made me a fortune. And for $300, that's what it would have cost me at that time, turned into an amazing 40-year career. So I thank him for that, and it's just goes to show you sometimes you can make lemonade out of lemons,
Yeah, well, that's a great example. I
Yeah,
mean, it's like the Phoenix metaphor. You got fired, but you know, did something with you didn't stop there. You kept going, and that's one thing I
yeah,
noticed with actors. There's a lot of self-driven, not stopping are gonna, it's not a failure. It's just one way to do it wrong. I learned and I keep
yeah.
going. So
And you do it better and better every single time, and
exactly.
that's what it's all about. It's not for sissies, I'll tell you what.
There we go.
Because they have this term for it. It's called rhino skin. You got to have
Yes.
rhino skin in this business, and
Yeah,
you
I
just
I just did finish shooting, well, not shooting, but editing my video for Richard Newman. It's going to be my next spotlight. And he talked a lot about that. He said, you're going to get rejected a whole lot more than you're going to get jobs.
that's
So,
right.
so
And
it's
Richard's a dear old friend of mine. Has been a friend for many, many years.
well, yeah, because you've been on the same shows. You're both from the same area, and so
Yeah,
you did you ever do
both
theater with him?
musicians. Huh?
Did you ever do theater with him?
I
Like,
never did theater with him. I
okay,
did animation with him, and we did some funny parody stuff at my house, here at
okay,
my house one time. Because we do a Christmas. We did 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Went all through the ship.
okay. Oh, it's good.
Yeah, and so that was fun. But he's just the nicest man. You'll really enjoy your interview with him.
Well, it's just a spotlight. Like that's what I do. I do like 5-10 minutes video shorts
Uh,
of and I go through the career. Then I send it to the actor in hopes that they're gonna get back to me, so then I can fish for an interview. That's what I did with you. So and everybody I've interviewed, that's what happened. I except John Machida. John Machida was actually he commented on my spotlight of him, and then that opened the door for me to ask for the interview. So,
cool.
but now
Cool.
yeah, well, I mean, it. I never intended to do interviews. It just I had the opportunity. I did it. We did it. It was fantastic with Mr. Machida, and then I just decided I'm going to send my videos to each actors in hopes to connect with them. So
Well, there
and
you
it's been fun. There's one thing though when I was doing my spotlight on you that I couldn't find. Okay, there's another YouTuber that you've met last year in Baltimore. His name is Patriot Prime, Jason B. Morgan. And then he said that you both talked about being artillery veterans.
Yes, I was in the reserves, in the artillery reserve.
So okay, because I couldn't find anything online. So you do
No,
have
that's not something I kept. That was before recorded history. But I was in the 15th Field Artillery 158 Battery in Vancouver, 1967.
okay. So you did your military training. You
Yeah,
were in the artillery.
no,
Okay,
yeah,
so but it was just a short time. You didn't do it for
yeah.
long.
I didn't stay for the whole thing, unfortunately, because there was a lot of turmoil in my life that I'd rather not discuss at the moment. But
It's all good.
yeah, it's a lot of family issues then. And
Okay, but did that time in the military prepare you for all the have you ever to sit back on that or pull from that when playing military character? Because God knows you've
well,
played tons of them.
the what it what the military did for me, and I absolutely loved the military, and I would have
Okay,
stayed there forever if I could have. But what it told me and what it taught me is that you are responsible for everything that you do, for every action that you take. Teamwork is very important. It's
okay,
always important to be fair, but strong. And it was a great methodology. Everything in its place and a place for everything. It was a tremendous approach to life. It's like discipline. It's a type of discipline. I mean, when you first get in, it feels awful because people say you're not good enough. You're not do this, do this, do that, do this. The dirt boot training, but everybody is equal in that misery,
okay.
and they're all the same. And then they build you up and build you up, and it's a tremendous experience for a lot of people. My brother was in the military as well in Ontario, and father and grandfather and all the rest of them. But
Okay.
I would have loved to stay there forever, but I couldn't. And it was just it's a tremendous approach to life. You keep going no matter what. You don't give up.
Right. Which,
That's
like
the
I
whole.
said, applies a lot to actors never
Yeah,
giving up and keep going.
never give up. When the
Yeah,
opportunity knocks, you open the door. Yeah.
exactly. No, but that's good. And then the did it help you with your roles because of that
With my
same?
with the military roles, oh, of course, it gives
Yeah.
there's a certain gravitas that goes with that stuff. You can't pretend, And I've watched, some people trying to be tough and trying to be this or trying to be that. It's not. It's not about being tough. It's about being a leader. That's what it's about. I can't really articulate it very well into words, but yeah, I've played a lot of military guys, and it's pretty straightforward for me, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've researched a lot of thing about you, so I know that one time you asked the producer to do if they had something different, but he told you no, you look like every cop.
Oh
Then
yeah,
I know.
that was hilarious because I went into the audition. I said, "Look, I play a cop all the time. Can I be a doctor or a teacher or something else other than a cop?" And the guy goes, "No, you look like every cop I ever knew."
Well, I mean, it's blessing and a curse, you know. I mean, you get roles, but I mean, there's maybe a little less variety to the roles.
Yeah.
But in the voiceover business, you did very various different
all kinds.
characters. So
Crazy.
so from all the mediums that you've acted for, ranging from on-screen theater, cartoons, video games, which one do you find the most fulfilling? You know, that gives you a great sense of satisfaction.
That's a difficult question because in film and television, I get satisfaction out of fulfilling everything for the character and hitting all the marks and because it's a very technical thing,
Yeah.
filmmaking. You know,
Okay.
all the camera angles and the blocking and what making it all work. And when it all comes together, it looks great. So and
Yes.
that's a great feeling of accomplishment when you finish the show at the end of the day and you go, boom, we nailed it. And with animation, it's basically the same thing. Is recording is it's a technical thing, but not nearly as technical as live film and television. But you still have to know your studio. You have to know your mic and the mic presence and all the things like pee popping and mouth noises and rustling clothing and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
when you get through a show, that's just the technical part of it. But the actual acting, you have to fill in all the gaps. You have to fill in the physical, the mental, the audible, your interactions with people. You basically have to see the movie in your head so that when you do voice the character, it's a real person in a real world, right? Even though it's fantastical and the characters are fantastical, to them they're real, and the world that they live in is real. And in order to have people care about you, those your responses have to be real. Your
Yeah.
character has to be real. And even if you're a villain, as long as people care enough about you to hate you, that's great
Of
because you're
course.
doing your job, you know. And that's the biggest sin that any can ever have is to have your audience not care about you or care about what you do. It's just you just go,
Yeah.
oh,
If people don't care about the character, any of the motivation, any of the thing that then the character is going to be written off eventually. So
yeah.
it it happens. And
I
from
remember,
everything that go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So from everything that you've done in all the acting medium you've worked with, what are you most recognized for in the streets? Like just people randomly walking up to you and say, you get a shut up rat trap, or that's just prime, or somebody doing a Russian accent, or what's the
I get that. Somebody came up to me and started speaking to me in Russian.
okay.
And I said, I'm sorry, I don't speak Russian. He says, yes, you do. And I said, no, I don't. And he goes,
You knew your lines in
yes,
Russian, but
I
you
knew my lines
okay.
in Russian, but I don't speak Russian. Anyway, this Russian guy, who's actually a famous guy in his own right, he was
Okay.
a guy who's a plumber guy I know, and he goes, I listen to your Russian. Your Russian sounds pretty darn good. You sound like Georgia. And I said, yeah, I guess I have a Georgian accent. It's a Russian state. And,
Okay.
well, this guy was famous because he was an Air Force pilot, a Russian Air Force pilot in the Ukraine and he stole a Russian MiG-29 or whatever it was, and flew it to Britain.
Really?
Yeah, during the Cold
That's
War.
that's the stuff of movies. You see
I
that in,
know.
Top Gun or
That's an amazing story. It was an amazing story, and I thought, "You did what?" He said, "No, I still play."
right. I mean, he could have get shut down, and wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, I was quite shocked. I didn't know about that. And then somebody said, "No, he stole a plane. He stole a jet fighter from Russia and flew it to England."
That's awesome.
So that was pretty funny. But I get funny things happen. I was in England in August, and I was sitting in my hotel in the restaurant for the lobby, and a woman walked up to me and she points her phone at me and she goes, "Is this you? Is this you?" And I looked. It was a picture of me dressed as Colonel Chekhov, and I said, "Yes, that's me." And she goes, "Could I have a picture?" I said, "Sure, okay." So we took a picture. And then in that same restaurant, like 5 minutes later, another Austrian guy, an Austrian guy comes out. He's a kid. He was in his late teens, early 20s. And he comes up, "You are Mr. Chalk." And I said, "Yes." He says, "I know your voice. You are Optimus Primal." And I said, "Yes." And she goes, "Can I have a picture?" I said, "Sure." Okay, so we took a picture. But the funniest one was I was shooting a movie in Victoria, which is, Vancouver Island.
Yep.
And I was staying farther away from downtown. And I thought I'm going to take a bus and go downtown to the Empress Hotel and go see the museum.
Okay.
So I go to the bus driver. Does this bus go all the way down to the Empress Hotel? And he goes, "Yes, it does." And I hear, "I know that voice. I know that voice." This guy come running up from the back of the bus. He says, "Hey, you're Mr. Chalk. I know you. I've heard your voice." And I said, "Yes." I said, "Who are you?" And he said, "Oh, I'm a seaman. I'm stationed at Esquimalt, which is the naval base."
Okay.
And he says, "Yeah, how? Nice to meet you. Finally, get to meet the voice of one of my heroes." Blah blah blah. And then I went up, "Yes, that's very nice." So I thought, okay, so great, thanks. But now the rest of the bus goes, "Oh yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
you're that guy. You're that
Yeah.
guy in that show." And I go, "Hi everybody," and then pretty funny.
Well, it's amazing. I mean, just to be recognized, it's one thing when it's the voice,
Yeah.
that means you did something right. People connected with the character.
I know,
So
and I find that's happened a few times where people recognize the voice and not recognize me, but they recognize the voice. And then there's other people who
yeah.
recognize me and not the voice. It's just, but I've had that happen. I was when I was in a hotel called the Hallmark in Oregon at the pool,
Okay.
and this couple was there with their 8-year-old boy, and the father recognized me from movies, and I was at the time shooting a movie called The Fly 2, and I said, "Yes, I do movies," and "Oh, you could." Can you send me something from your show? Was the little kid. So I said, "Sure, okay." And so I got their address, and I went back to the set of The Fly 2. And Chris Wallace, who was the director and creative of the Monsters, he said,
Hmm.
"Yeah, sure, I'll get well, you can have one of the mistakes." And I said, "Okay." And it was Inside Out Cat
Okay.
from the teleporter. It was like a model of a cat, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
looked pretty real. It looked pretty good. And I said, "Oh, he'll love this." So we put it in a box, labeled it, and wrote on the side of the box, "Caution, monster in box."
Nice.
And then I shipped it off in the mail, and it arrived at their house. And I don't imagine what happened, but the little 8-year-old boy, he sent me a letter, and he said, "Dear Mr. Chalk, thank you for the monster in the box. It was very cool. My mom opened the box and nearly fainted and screamed, and I laughed. I thought it was very funny. I took it to school for show and tell, and a kid offered me $200 for it, but I said no. Your friend Joel."
No, that's awesome. You made this kid's life like that. His whole week and month, he's probably just talking about that. But that's awesome.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny.
I'm just gonna pull before I go with my own curiosity question. I just want to pull from the chat. We have Chris Milchev. He wants to know how were the voice direction of Terry Klassen while doing Armada?
Voice direction to Terry. Well, Terry, I before I worked in animation with Terry, I did a lot of commercial work with Terry. Terry Klassen is a tremendous voice director and has been for many, many years. I did some commercials with him back in the 80s. And he was a great voice director. He was quite specific and very precise about what we do, and had a tremendous sense of humor, which is always fun. But he always called me Mr. Chalk. Chalk.
Yeah, okay. It happens.
Yeah.
And we have Memo here, who's my previous partner in crime, but because we haven't had a chance to do live stuff together. He wants to know what was your favorite live action filming experience?
My favorite live action film, well, there's a couple of them. The first one was The Fly 2. It was such a tremendous learning experience for me. I mean, I'd done smaller roles, but this was my first lead role in a feature that was stretched over several months.
Okay.
And I learned a lot about special effects. I learned a lot about prosthetic makeup from one of an Oscar-winning makeup artist, Stéphane Dupuis. Chris Wallace himself was a tremendous special effects guy. He built robots. He's the guy who built the little gremlins. Remember the gremlins?
Yeah.
He built the gremlins. That was he created those characters. He also created some characters on Ghostbusters and Raiders of the Lost Ark and all that. It was a tremendous experience, and all the people that I worked with got to be great friends with for years and years, and so that was one. The other one was a Canadian television series called Cold Squad, which I worked on for 7 years, I think. And I think I did. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I think it was like 70 episodes, 60 episodes, somewhere around there. Okay. But it was a wonderful experience, again, with tremendous cast of actors and a tremendous slew of directors that we had on the series over the years. I won a couple of Gemini Awards on that show, and it just allowed me to grow, as an actor, to have challenges, which I didn't really have a lot of with the previous stuff, and I thought it was an amazing opportunity, an amazing experience to develop all those challenges. So, but today, now I'm still working. I mean, I haven't stopped working. I'm still working.
I know.
But now I'm getting roles that are way out of my comfort zone, or way out of my usual,
like outside the typecast.
Outside the typecast, yes.
Yeah.
And it's that's been tremendous, and apparently getting very well received. I have 2 films right now in the Whistler Film Festival, and in the Montreal Film Festival, and in the Black Black Film Festival. So things are going quite well. I'm still at it, and got another cartoon coming out soon, but can't
Yeah,
say anything about it because it hasn't been published. So
has
you
the
know,
movie Colorblind came out yet, or
that's
you're the
one.
lead? Okay,
Yeah,
it's one of
movie
the at the
Guardian,
okay,
that's one of the that's showing at the Whistler Film Festival, and
okay.
it's out in Montreal too, I think.
Because I wanna see that one because I don't know I haven't read the premises because I'm colorblind. I think it has nothing to do with actual color blindness,
Oh
but
yes, it does
it
actually.
does. Okay, because I want to watch that. Because when I saw the title, I'm like, okay, Gary Chalk. I'm colorblind. Gary Chalk's in it. I have to watch that. So
I'm
I'll
a I'm a bad guy, but I become a good guy.
well,
So
okay, well there you go. That's character growth,
oh,
which is missing
spoiler!
from a
Oh
lot of
no!
shows.
But no, it's a movie about what happens is this black woman has moved into an apartment building run by me, and uh, she gets defrauded by this guy who buys her art, her paintings, because she is colorblind and she can't tell the difference between what's a real dollar and a fake one. So she pays her rent with this counterfeit money, which leads to all kinds of things. And
Okay,
yeah, so that movie was way out of my comfort zone, but it was quite fulfilling in the end and well received. So I'm very happy about that. So
okay.
that you'll see that. It's just it'll be showing at the Whistler Film Festival next week, and also I got another one out there called Exile that's going to be shown there as well with Adam Beach. So yeah, so I'm still clocking
Well,
along.
well, exactly. I mean, you guys never really retire. Like, I mean, you hear like Sean Connery retired, but I think it was more for health reason. But I mean, you've
Yeah,
everybody that I interviewed still works today. You're still
yeah.
going at it.
Well,
You
I
know,
will. I think I'll just continue working until I drop
yeah. It's
or
not that
forget.
I wish it, but
Yeah.
it could happen. I do have a question. Like Memo mentioned something, and I'm trying to pull from the chat before I move on with my other question. So, hold on. Were you directed to mimic or stay away from doing a similar voice style of Peter Cullen? When actually, yeah, I know the answer to that question. They wanted you to kind of mimic Peter Cullen for the Armada, the trilogy, but
Yes.
you decided no. I'm just going to
I'm
give
gonna
you
go
more
with my
threat.
own voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I think that's my personal opinion, but I think that's a problem these days. Everybody wants to have a Peter Cullen without paying for a Peter Cullen,
That's right.
you know, and the reason I started my voice acting thing, my channel to shine a spotlight on who made the cartoons great, is because of the latest show, The War for Cybertron on Netflix. The
Yeah.
voice acting was subpar because they went with non-unionized actor and they went with a guy who's in his own right a great impressionist.
Yeah.
He's able to mimic and do repeat stuff that actors have said in their voice, and he's great, but he wasn't an actor. So Optimus Prime
Yeah.
was just flat. So it's just that's my opinion. I do have a quick
Well,
curiosity question.
I
How
agree.
was it? How was it working with David Hasselhoff on the Nick Fury Agent of Shield TV movie? You played Dum Dum Dugan.
Dum Dum Dugan. Hilarious fun.
Okay.
That was a riot. I mean, David Hasselhoff is a great guy. Just a fun guy to hang out with.
Okay.
I hung out with him before the show, and we went out to different clubs and stuff, and just party, went to restaurants, just sort of be buddies. And I remember that people would want their autograph with him, and he says, "Sure, but I'll take an autograph, or I'll take a picture with you, but we can't touch. We can't touch each other. So if you see me, when you ever see Hasselhoff with a photograph with a fan, he's never touching them because there's all these sort of legal implications or whatever.
Okay. Yes.
He had gone through some lawsuits with people that were giving him giving him grief for whatever reason. But he said, nope, no touchy, no thank you. And
Which
but other than
it's all
that,
about protecting yourself when
yeah,
it comes to
protecting
that.
yourself,
Yeah.
and that's what he did. And I learned about that too. So he was really fun to work with. And Rod Hardy, the guy who directed the show, I'm still friends with him today. He's an Australian director, and he lives in Los Angeles now. And
Okay.
I converse with him all the time. He's a great guy. All the actors, also the woman who played the villainess.
Lady Hydra.
Yeah, I talk to her every once in a while. She lives in Los Angeles as well, and who else? Neil Roberts. He played the British guy in the show, in the movie.
Okay.
The young guy, the sort of a gung ho kid. He works in the theater, and he does a television series in England and London. And
Okay.
I saw the last time I saw him was about 3 years ago, and I was over in England, and then so we went out and had lunch and hung out. And he's got his family and everything. So that was a great experience. Actually, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
one thing,
Yeah.
and I got to do a scene that was cut from the movie apparently with Stan Lee,
Ah,
and he signed my picture, and I signed his.
wow. That's awesome. I mean, Stan Lee's the legend. I have a huge comics collection as well. Like
Yeah.
Stan Lee was, not a father figure, but I mean, he created so much of my childhood. So that the
Oh,
fact that you guys traded, pictures, that's awesome.
well, I'll get to tell you one thing. That when we were on the day when he came in to shoot, I said to him, "I have one question for you," and he goes, "Oh yes, what's that? How come you never published my letter?" Because
Okay, there you go.
in the backs of the comics,
Yep.
you get all the letters from fans, letters to Stan Lee.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
used to write letters because every Saturday morning when I was a kid, me and my friend would go to the corner store. We'd get our comic books and we'd sit on the sidewalk on the curb and read this week's new comic books. And I always looked to see if my letter made it into the letters to the editor, because I thought, well,
Yep.
you write a letter, they publish it. Well, I didn't realize that 100,000 letters they get.
Oh yeah, it's probably failed.
Yeah, and you can only, he said, and that's exactly this. Well, I'm very sorry, but we get 100,000 letters every week, and we can only put in 4.
A very limited number. Oh yeah, it's that's good. I mean, Stanley is one of those guys. I almost met him at Comic Con Montreal, maybe 10 years ago or more. But the lineup was just way too long.
Oh, it's
And
way too long. Yeah, I was with him
yeah.
in Atlanta, in Dragon Con in Atlanta.
Okay.
And again, way too long, the lines. But
Oh yeah.
very nice, down to earth, happening dude. I really liked him.
All right. Just gonna move on with the rest of the questions.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to keep you too long. It's I know you guys are always busy. I want to know something about your technique, your approach. When everybody's different when they approach a character. When you're given a script, what's the first thing that you do into developing a character?
When I look at my character, when I look at the script, I look at the script and look at the description of the character. They're like, he's very gruff. He has this kind of a voice. He has that kind of a voice. He hates this guy, but he has a weak spot for blah blah blah. So I take that all into account, and then I look at a picture of the character and determine the physicality of the character.
Okay.
Is he tall, thin? Is he a big, jowly kind of character like that? And so I look at that, and then I determine, how does this character laugh? And when
Okay.
I find that laugh, it really helps you burrow into the character. Like I used to with King Hippo. It used to be, excuse yourself, you pig. You had that kind of
Okay.
a character, and then with someone like Grounder from Sonic the Hedgehog, it would be like, I'm not myself. I just lost my head for a moment. And
When you start with the
you
laugh.
you find that little laugh, and you'll find the character. I did that with a lot of them, like Dog Star. He was he had that kind of a jolly kind of space, and the way he spoke, almost like a Mr. Magoo, and those Rygelian cheese bombs. Oh boy, the things we did, and when you find that, now you have the basic shape of a character there. Now you go into the finer points of the acting and reacting, which is like any other, but
Okay.
it's basically finding the vessel to put those words into, and
Okay.
that's my approach.
I think it's a good approach. I never heard that. Start with the laugh and then
Yeah.
expand. So
Yeah.
no, that's good. And this is one of my, I guess, favorite question I ask to everybody, because I've categorized actors into two categories, and I'm not an expert. This is just my head stuff. There's working actors, voice actors, such as yourself, Scott McNean, Susan Blue, Corey Burton,
Yeah.
and then there's celebrity voice actor. Like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, or they're gonna get another actor to just to for
Bruce
the name.
Willis and
Yeah, exactly, Bruce Willis. And so I want to know your opinion. Is that a point of contempt when you could have done the job, or any other voice actor could have done the job, but then they went for a big name to get the audience, thinking that it's going to draw the audience?
well, the thing is, there are some celebrity voices that are fantastic, like John Leguizamo is amazing as the sloth in Ice Age.
Okay.
And he has some great character voices. And Leguizamo is a tremendous actor. Also, Mike Myers was very good in what he did.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, the other celebrity voices are basically just them.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing that a lot of like blue collar voice actors, as I would call them, because I'm a blue collar voice actor,
Okay.
is that they get paid a tremendous amount of money, and yet when we would do cartoons, we get like a scale rate or a double scale rate. We don't get $1 million contracts or $2 million contracts,
Right.
and like that's our whole life. And these guys go in and I always remember one voice actor or one celebrity who was doing voice acting. He goes, "Wow, they made me do this line 47 times. This voice acting stuff is tough." And I said, "No, you just suck."
Yeah.
He said,
Exactly.
"You know,
It's all about,
you don't get it."
because there's a lot of controversy right now. Like I think the biggest one right now is Chris Pratt doing the voice of Mario,
Yeah,
who we've heard Mario for so many iteration of games and
yeah.
TV spot, and it's always that it's a me Mario. And then he goes into an interview and says that he worked with the director and the producer to find a good voice that would fit the character and that everybody's gonna love it. And then you hear the trailer, it's just Chris Pratt not
Yeah,
doing anything else than himself. And he
yeah,
got tons of hate for it. And to me, that's like, well, you had an actor that did
yeah,
Mario for 20, 30 years. So, they could have, just skipped with that. And same thing kind of happened with you and Optimus Primal.
oh
And, with, I know that's it. And to me, Optimus Primal is such an iconic character for the Transformers.
yeah,
And then when in the Prime Wars trilogy, which was the preview, before the War for Cybertron on NextPlay with Ron Perlman, and now he's doing it again in Rise of the Beast.
Yeah.
And everybody was hoping for this movie to finally have Peter Cullen and you
one and me,
meet up on screen and just chit chat, talk about Transformers stuff. We were like, oh, this is gonna be, the movie, and then, yeah. So,
because why is because Ron Perlman did the series. Was that right? Not Rise of the Beast. That was called
the series was that he was in Power of the Primes, which was the third act of the Prime War trilogy.
Yeah, the Power of the Prime, and I thought, well, why the hell would you hire him and not even give me a call? I mean, I created the role. I created that character, and it's a unique. It's not an Optimus Prime. It's an Optimus Primal, and it's a different. Like this guy is a different ball game. Well, I don't know
exactly. See, I still have this version of you.
Huh?
This.
Oh yeah. I remember that's the
Optimal
Optimus. Yeah.
And my mother-in-law found that in some thrift store or whatever, and it's one of the most complete ones I've ever seen. Yeah. I'm missing one missile in one panel, so I'm super lucky to have that. So, and because I have this, I didn't buy any of the new version that came out with the Kingdom line.
Yeah. My problem is that I don't know why they didn't contact me, but because Ron Perlman is a big star, with Hellboy and all these other things, Sons of Anarchy, and he was going to play Primal. Now I like Ron Perlman. I played golf with him. He's a great guy. It's a good guy and everything. And I just thought it was an odd choice. And I was hoping that they would have contacted me, but they didn't. So I moved on. I mean, it's not the end of the world that I don't get that part. It's a bit disappointing that I don't get it.
Yeah.
And if it's not gonna change my life too much. It's not gonna ruin my life that I didn't get it. But I'll never understand why. But that's
and there's a lot of fans that we don't understand it either. We would have loved to, see that happen.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I don't have high expectation for that movie because it feels more and more now from a earliest Bayverse movie type of show rather than the Bumblebee movie that came out a couple years ago, which was fantastic.
I love the Bumblebee movie.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, the character
really model the character was so funny and so endearing in a Bumblebee.
Exactly, but now they're going. They seem to be going back with the old ways.
The Michael Bay stuff, I've got to be honest with you, I'm not a big fan.
I'm not either.
When Optimus Prime goes, kill them all, I go, no, Prime doesn't kill people. That was very. I found that very distressing.
Exactly. I
hope not to be a bad guy, but I hope Ron Perlman does a much better performance than the one on the previous series, because I think
Kingdom. The War for Cybertron Kingdom. I mean, Kingdom kind of did save that trilogy because, like I said, the War for Cybertron line show, some of the voice acting, like Megatron, the actor who did Megatron, was really good, and people really love his performance. And then Air Razor was good. Black Arachnia as well. I mean, I miss Venus. We all do. She would have been fun to see. But then I looked at the cast on the behind the voice actor. A lot of these people, it's their one role. They've never done anything else except in War for Cybertron trilogy. And I'm like, that's just one role. A lot of them are dubbers. Most of them are actual dubbers.
Yeah.
And lots of them are non-unionized actors, which I
Well,
find
that's the problem. You see,
exactly
I
that's
can't do non-union, so.
and that's my third curiosity question is that how much did it change from the 80s, also with the arrival of more dubbing, more animation, video games? How much did the industry change, and is it still a fun industry, or is it more competitive now?
Well, it's still a fun industry. I mean, there's it's always been competitive, but the thing is that there are so many different streams now. They're just churning out
Hmm.
a lot of product, and they got to put out product everywhere all the
Yeah.
time. So, and a lot of times are taking great pains to cut costs and keep things to a minimum. So I find that sometimes they the work suffers a little bit, but not too bad. I mean, there's some shows I've been watching, like Arcane. I don't know if you ever seen this one.
No, I don't. Not
It's on
yet.
Netflix, Arcane. Oh my God, what a great show!
Okay.
Oh man, the art in it, the artwork in it, and the performances in it,
Okay.
the writing, first rate. Some great stories.
That's the
Kind of
one
like,
based on League of Legends, right? Is that
huh?
is that the show based on the game
Yeah, yeah,
League
yeah,
of Legends? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
They're
Yeah, my son's
very
been
good.
bugging me to
Kind of
watch that.
a film noir, apocalyptic kind of series. It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you go. I mean, I just keep carrying on doing what I do. You
Yeah.
know,
I mean, we're
it,
thankful for all you did. Yeah, and
well,
today being Thanksgiving in the U.S., perfect time for me to say that. But thank you, for
that's it.
giving us such a Optimus Primal was actually really a father figure for this whole cast. He had a different relationship as a father would with every member of the crew,
Yeah,
and he helped them grow and made them realize their mistake without burying them all the
yeah.
time. So it was really, really something good. And I'm gonna put this last question here, um, from Lone Dragon. So how often do you find yourself saying that's just Prime in everyday life?
Day-to-day life. In my day-to-day life, well, not too many, I gotta say.
Okay.
But every once in a while, I'll throw it in just for a laugh, and I actually did it once with customs at the border.
Okay.
I got called in for a secondary examination,
Screening.
whatever they
Yeah,
call
yeah.
it, clearance, and so the guy says, "Well, we're just here for to do more in depth clearance for you for customs," and I said, "Well, that's just Prime," and he went.
There you go.
And I said, he goes, "So where are you going?" I said, "Miami." I said, "What are you doing? You're going to do a convention there?" I said, "Oh, who do you like?" I said, "No, I'm going as a guest. I'm going to speak." He said, "Well, who do you play?" And I said, "Optimus Prime." And his face went beet red. And he goes,
Oh,
"Dude,
give me
do
the
the voice, do the voice."
nice.
Oh, that was funny. Not a lot of times. I don't say with, well, that's just Prime a lot of times. I mean, people ask me to say it a lot of times, but
Yeah.
in my everyday life, no, it's more like, another day, another dollar. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Nice. Well, thank you very much for taking the time. We're a little, but we're well at the hour. Thank you very much for taking the time to meet up with me.
Let me tell
Um,
you, it's been a real pleasure. I had a
thank
real
you.
good time. Thank you. And thank you, all of you who took the time out to ask questions and to say hello. That's been very nice.
Yeah, thank you to the chat. Yes, again for everybody to show up, and Ninja Bill for being my moderator. So he takes care of every spam and stuff like that. So you want to have one in the chat. So thanks for everybody. I'll just prepare my outro. So don't leave, Mr. Chalk. Like
I will not.
all right, perfect. Oh,
Yeah.
thanks everyone for coming by. I hope you've enjoyed this interview. If you did, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell. Also, leave a comment. I love reading those. And remember, nothing in life gives you a right to be an asshole. Take care.